Hi friends, welcome back to Tech Arkit YouTube channel. My name is Ravi. In this video session, we are going to see AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner Certification. The next module is about security. So what AWS security identity and compliance will provide, and what are the services you can use, and how secure the environment is, what are the security services you can utilize on the cloud platform. Let's see that. AWS offers a wide range of security and compliance services to help its customers secure their cloud infrastructure and comply with industry and regulatory standards. To understand the security part of AWS, need to understand below first. One thing, so here there are responsibilities with customer, there are responsibilities with AWS. So if you know what is your responsibility in securing your environment, then you can secure your environment. Otherwise, so it's all not all AWS can manage. So something you have to manage your own on the AWS as well, on the cloud as well. So what is the perspective you have to know to understand what is security, identity and compliance. So what are the responsibilities you have, and what is the responsibilities of cloud provider. Shared responsibility model. So this is a responsibilities has been shared between you and cloud provider. Well architected framework. So there are the 6 well architected frameworks pillars. You have to understand what are there those and how they provide the best services on the cloud with security and all. Security, encryption, secrets management and compliance. So these are all the included in this next module, and see what are those actually. So in security, identity and compliance, so it provides this many services on the AWS from the security perspective. IAM, identity and access management, where you can create the users, groups, roles, and provide the access to the different users based on these roles and responsibilities. Example, if you are providing an access to the developer, you can only provide the developer tools access to him, so that you can only access those developer tools, you cannot do anything. So if you're providing access to the a cloud architect or a manager or a director, so they don't need any technical services. They most of the times they need a billing services or the console access to that, to see what is the cost management and all. So that's how you can provide the services or the security using the IAM. The next service they're providing is WAF, web application firewalls, which can be used on your building your secured applications, like while traffic diversions and providing the application layer security. AWS Shield protects against the DDoS attacks and malicious web traffic to your websites. Macy classifies and secures your business critical content. Config, AWS Config allows you to access, audit and evaluate the configuration of your resources. Guard duty, intelligent threat detection to protect your AWS accounts and workloads. AWS Inspector, continual vulnerability management at scale. So this is actually do your EC2 instances and scanning your vulnerability and let you know what is the vulnerabilities exist on your environment. Artifact, security compliance reports and agreements. Security Hub, which provides a comprehensive view of your security posture across your AWS account. So if you have the multiple AWS accounts, so you can connect to the Security Hub, then it will provide you the comprehensive view of all your security from different AWS accounts. Cognito, consumer identity management and AWS credentials for federated identities. So that's the federated identities, how you provide the federated access using the Cognito. Audit manager continuously assess controls for risk and complaints. So you have any complaints like HIPAA complaints or PCI DSS complaints or GDPR complaints, so audit manager can help you to audit and assess the controls. Certificate manager basically provides you the SSL certificate, provision and manage and deploy the SSL and TLS certificates for your applications. Detective, investigate and analyze potential security issues. So this is the one of the major service to provide you the investigating any security issues happened to investigation, which will help you more. So there are more services, which is IAM Identity Center, manage workforce user access to multiple AWS accounts and cloud compliant applications. Key management service, securely generate and manage AWS encryptions. Like example, you wanted to store the data and encrypt it, so you take your key with you for the unencryption the data or encryption the data on AWS, like S3 or EVS, anywhere you wanted to encrypt the data. Security lake, automatically centralize all your security data with few clicks. AWS Signer, ensuring trust and integrity of your code, so which actually uses integrity checks of your code. Amazon verified permissions, manage, analyze and enforce permissions across your applications. Secrets manager, easily rotate, manage and retrieve secrets throughout their life cycle. So this is basically you don't need to maintain a password. So the secrets manager actually uses easily managing your passwords rotations, so that makes more secure your environment. Something like if you are sharing the screen, suddenly your password has been exposed, but you can use the security manager to easily rotate your secrets, so that's the passwords. Directory service, host and manage the Active Directory services. You can integrate with the multiple identity or access management systems, so that makes your infrastructure or the access management is very easy. So you can use the single account to log into any of the service with the Active Directory service. So the next one, you have to understand what is your responsibility and cloud provides responsibility on shared responsibility model. So as I said you, cloud should have some responsibility with them, and as a customer, you should have some responsibilities to manage your security and manage your identity and access management, all this stuff, right? So what are those? If you take the services, right, the SaaS, software as a service, PaaS, platform as a service, IaaS, infrastructure as a service, FaaS, function as a service. So what are the responsibilities here of cloud? The customer is in a blue line. So if you see that the customers have the blue lines, right, where information and data. So the information is yours, data is yours, you are responsible for your data, not the cloud. So cloud provides, if you opt for any backup services or the security services, they provide, but until unless you do not opt, the default responsibility is yours to protect your data. And devices and mobiles and PCs. So if you're accessing the device, using the device, so to protect the device, the responsibility is yours. Accounts and identities, example, so whatever the console access you are providing, the password security, example, how a big password, the complex password you set, the multi authentication access set, and all this MFAs and all, so that is your responsibility. So what is the account should you create, and what is the access you should provide to that accounts and all, that is your responsibility to create. So they give the service, but it is up to you to how you utilize. They don't know who is your manager, who is your director, right? So you know who is your manager, who is your director, what access level they should have. And identity and directory infrastructure, in this case, if it is in a software as a service, so it is a 50-50 responsibility. Like from the software perspective, they provide the identity and directory services for you to log in for the application, because this application everything is managed by the cloud provider. In physical, like the PaaS, the platform as a service, it is a identity management is also on a 50-50 responsibility, and network controls also is in a 50-50 responsibility. Operating system also in a 50-50 responsibility. Like the operating system will be platform as a service, the operating system and network control and applications will be provided by the cloud provider. So they give the platform, like OS, they give the Linux OS or the Windows OS and the servers to you. You can do whatever you want, but the patches and management they do for us. If you take on a infrastructure is your responsibility, then they provide you a physical host and physical network, data center, operating system, network controls, applications, and identity and access management. They keep with them, right? The infrastructure with them, all the physical controls keep with them and provide you the infrastructure to you. So whatever you want to install on them, it's up to you. In function as a service, so it's all they manage for you, so you just need to utilize that functions. So this is the responsibility between you and customer. So let's dive into some examples here. What is your responsibility in terms of some services? What is the cloud responsibilities here? So example, the firewall configuration, it's not the cloud provider's responsibility. It's your responsibility that you configure your firewall rules correctly. Load balancers configuration, so you configure the load balancers yourself, you keep with your load balancers with you. Physical data center security, so the physical data centers, we do not have any access. The AWS responsibility or the cloud provider responsibility to have the physical data center security, so that nobody comes and access unwantedly any of your physical resources. So that's their responsibility to keep the rack secure and the data center secure, physical access management and security. They will provide the security on that. Encryption of the data in rest, so they do not provide any encryption unless you opt for it, or you have to enable the data encryption with you using the KMS service. So that's the user responsibility. Language versions of Lambda, the Lambda is a function as a service. It is completely fully managed by AWS. So AWS provides the Lambda and its own updates and everything to you. You just use the service. So it's all AWS responsibility to language version updates or the Lambda updates, or is there any bug fixes, anything, patches or anything they do for you. You just use the service. Taking data and database backups, it's a user responsibility, like how many databases you have, what is the data you have, what is important, what is not important. It's up to you. It's what is the importance of your production databases. Then whatever it is important, you make sure that enable the multi-AG or the multi-region replication, so that if one region goes down, your data will be secured. So the primary responsibility of the customer is to keep their data backup themselves. Updating EC2 instances, firmware versions. Example, the physical hardware firmware versions to be handled by AWS, because we don't have any access to the physical servers in a cloud region, because that is fully managed and deployed by the AWS professionals. So they do hardware replacements or firmware updates, anything on the AWS. Managing network infrastructure. So the internal network infrastructure is managed by the AWS, so you don't have anything on the physical infrastructure or the network infrastructure access. Patching a guest operating system for EC2. So if you are installing any operating system on EC2 instance, so that is your responsibility to patch your operating system. Hardware scrapping. So if anything hardware is like old model hardwares, or refreshing the hardwares, doing the hardware upgrades, anything on the hardware side, the AWS is responsible for their model to upgrade their hardware and keep this hardware up to date to avoid any physical access vulnerabilities or any firmware level vulnerabilities on that. So this is about the security, identity and compliance. So there are few more videos on this module. Let's continue on them in the next video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Please subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos and courses.